Welcome to my second video. This one's called Can I Practice Magic? Now, as I said in my last video, probably only 1 in 20 can possibly be a sorcerer. The rest of the population were not born with the ability. Now all of us can practice magic, but only for the 1 in 20 will it really work in the real world. Traditionally, there were some major barriers to initiation and illumination, but nowadays these have all but disappeared. In the old days, you would be selected for training. Now, you must select yourself. So how do you know if you might be a sorcerer? Well, in the old days, there were lots of signs. Watch this.
Test yourself, Your Highness, by way of demonstration. How much less violent? I take the for the suspect, a dagger, and a crucifix. Oh, how interesting! The suspect is blindfolded, and he picks up the dagger from the table. He is Satan's bedfellow. Yes, Edmund, I think you should do it. Well, at least take yourself out of the running, what? I haven't seen your broomstick recently, have I? I'm not so sure about all this, you know. You will all notice how it has suddenly become much darker. Choose.
See what I mean? Now there are strong indicators and weak indicators. Now a strong indicator that you might be a sorcerer is missing time episodes. Have you ever had the experience of losing a few minutes or even an hour of time and not knowing what you've been doing? Now I don't mean after you've been drunk and gone down the pub. I mean just when you're going about your daily tasks. For example, maybe a car journey that you undertake every day, and it always lasts about the same length of time. Suddenly you find one day in particular it's taken nearly double the time. Why? Now I'll fill you in on a missing time episode that I had. I was driving down a small road in between two roundabouts. No exits, no entrances. Behind me there was a bus. I got 3/4 of the way down the road, I looked in my mirror again. Behind me there was no bus. This is what set me thinking. And I suddenly realised that this trip that I did every day into work had suddenly taken me 20 minutes longer than it should have done. And for the life of me I could not recall where I was or what I had been doing. Think back, go through your memory, see if there's anything missing. Strong indicator number 2 is having things come true. Saying some piece of what you know is total bullshit, but having it become true. Have you ever come out in conversation with a piece of garbage because you don't wish to look silly and had it later proved to be totally true? For example, having no idea of what you're talking about, you state that it's been proved scientifically that remote viewing is real. And it has. Strong indicator number 3. Have you ever wished for something with all your heart and had it happen in some unexpected way? For example, when you're 6, you really want that expensive toy in the shop window. You can feel what it would be like to play with it and own it. And 4 days later, your dad comes home with one that he found on the bus. A lot of magic happens by coincidence and synchronicity. If that plays a big part in your life, then that's a very strong indicator you could be a sorcerer.
Intelligent life is so very rare, the rarest thing in creation, but the most precious. It is the only thing that gives meaning to the universe. Without it, nothing begins, nothing ends.
Strong indicator number 4. Do coincidences and synchronous events occur more often in your life than in other people's? Are you unusually lucky? For example, are you the one that gets in the elevator that does not become stuck? Do you walk down the streets of a city hundreds of miles from home and meet people you know who are on holiday? Now that's an experience I had in Egypt. I went from London to Cairo. I was walking through the streets of Cairo. I came across an old school friend I hadn't seen for 40 years. I recognised him immediately. He didn't recognise me, but I went up to him, talked to him. Yes, it was him. Now this sort of synchronicity and outrageous coincidence, if it happens in your life more than, say, once every 5 years, then that also is a strong indicator you could be a sorcerer. Now there's also some minor indicators. Do you have either royal or sorceress blood in your family? There is a strong feeling amongst a lot of us that the ability to be a sorcerer is in fact genetic. And it seems that people of royal blood have always had the capability. Does epilepsy run in your family? For thousands of years it's been believed that epileptics are special. Epileptics have been venerated in many societies as being in direct contact with the gods. Have you just felt special from an early age? Have you ever felt watched when there is nobody there? You're all alone in the woods, you're hiking, you're walking. Suddenly you feel like someone is watching you. You look around, nobody there. Do you feel a buzz when you're in old and sacred places? Now this could be a good buzz, it could be a buzz that makes you feel excited and happy to an unusual extent, or it could be the other way around. It could be a negative aura that drags you down and makes you feel like a place is actually terrifying despite the fact that it's in full sunlight. Lastly, can you successfully dowse, use the tarot or I Ching, or in any way use some divination method? If you do and your results are good, then that is a good minor indication. So how do you interpret this? Well, really what I would say is if you have one or more of the major indicators, then you're definitely in the 1 in 20. If you have 3 or more of the minor indicators, then you're probably in the 1 in 20. If you have all of the indicators, then it's possible you're in the 1 in 1,000 who finds that sorcery is extremely easy. The only way to be 100% sure is to begin to practice magic and see if it works for you.
First, you must get some of his hair, with the roots.
Well, second?
A little blood. Doesn't have to be much. And thirdly, some of your milk.
You must be kidding. I've got no milk.
You just drink this now. Within 3 days, you'll have plenty of milk.
So what sort of magic should you practice? Well, magic comes in many different flavours. It is a good idea to try and combine many of them. And so, before you start, I would recommend a read of The Sorcerer's Secrets by Jason Miller, which is available on Amazon. And no, it's got nothing to do with me, honestly. Plus, of course, following the rest of these videos, which act as a kind of skeletal course on magic. In fact, the next video will be exactly that. It will be your first act of magic. Well, thank you for watching again. Please leave a comment, good or bad, rate the video if applicable, and I'll see you all soon.